In this video, we're going to cover how to configure internal site search tracking. If you have this set up in Google Analytics and a user performs a search on your website, then you can gain insight into what search terms they're looking for on your website, as well as what pages they're performing your searches, and other useful insight that you can use to improve your website and improve the user experience. In the Universal Analytics version of Google Analytics, go to the admin section using the gear icon in the lower left corner, and in the right column, under the View column, click on View Settings. Then you'll scroll down to the Site Search Settings section and turn this on. And when you do this, a couple of fields will appear. It asks for the query parameter and whether you want to strip query parameters out of the URL. So we'll go over what this means. On your site, when a user performs a site search, and this is the case for most websites out there, but when they perform a search, so I'm searching for a dashboard here, it'll add this portion, this string, to the URL. So this indicates that this page we're on is the search results page, and it tells us the query string for the search. So we basically want to match the search term that we used in the search box to the term in the URL. So we found that site search term, and now the actual query parameter is before the site search term and before the equal sign that comes before the site search term. In our case here, the site search query parameter is Q. So we want to remember that. Go back to our analytics, our GA site search configuration, and in this field for the query parameter, we'll input Q. And you can use up to 5 parameters for this field. And what you want to do, if you have more than one, you'll separate them by commas. But since we only have one query parameter here, we're just going to go with that single parameter. And then this check box is for whether you want to strip query parameters out of the URL. So if you don't mark that, then Google Analytics will track this part of the URL as a page. So that includes the search term. But since we're tracking site search with this configuration here, we can check this box off so that we do strip out the query parameters out of the URL, and that will avoid duplicate data. So that will avoid having the data in the site search reports as well as the page content reports. And then there's this other option for site search categories, which is optional. This will also require probably some developer support to configure a parameter that will indicate what the site search category is in the internal site search. So we're going to leave this off, and then we'll click Save. So once that's saved, we can go back and try this out. So we have dashboard, and we can search this again so that we have data in our Google Analytics reports, and we can also go back and search e-commerce. So now that we have those site search terms tracked, we can check to see if they've been processed in our Google Analytics. It may take a little bit longer than other types of data to report in Google Analytics. But where you'll find the data is from the left navigation under behavior, and then find site search terms. And we'll see if the data is reported yet. I'm not sure it will, since it hasn't been that long, but we'll make sure we have our correct date. And it looks like it hasn't processed yet, so we're not seeing it here. But what this report might look like is something like this. So we have this site search, the site search terms, and these are the different terms that the users input into the search, the total unique searches for each terms, the number of results per search, number of search, or the percent of search exits, that is, the user performed the search and then immediately exited the website. There's percent of search refinements, so that is if the user performed the search, but then they just decided to try another search in order to improve the search results that they wanted to see. As well as time after search, so this is the amount of time that users spent on the website after the search, and then the average search depth. So this is the number of pages visitors viewed after receiving the results for the search term.